Hey there, Aries. Welcome to your reading for the week of October 20th. You have this leadership and this voyage card. Definitely a very good time for you to take the lead. You're going to have Saturn in your first house in Aries in next year in 2026, and Saturn's already been in your first house. So, anything you can do to take the lead in your life, anything you can do to become more responsible or to take responsibility for things that you're working on, all that will make you very, very successful here, Aries. So, I'm a big fan of that for you. And, that's what I would do. The Voyage card, I do feel some of you are, could be adventuring around. You have Jupiter and Cancer, in your fourth house, which can definitely have you going on adventures, moving, traveling, doing all sorts of stuff, expanding in the world, which is I'm definitely a big fan of for you. And so, and here you go. You have the World card, as I say that. And so, definitely very good. You start with the King of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Death card in your first row for your current general energies. The King and Queen of Pentacles are divine counterparts, so if you are looking for love, definitely could be a solid connection coming in for you here with the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles are two people who want something long-term. This is also, what I would really say is that this reading looks like it's about money. So there is a little bit of love here, but I feel a lot of you are kind of like trying to improve your finances and are doing things to improve your finances. The King of Pentacles is about using your skills to make more money. The Queen of Pentacles is about multiplying your skills. And so she has this rabbit right here, and the rabbits in the tarot kind of sometimes can represent multiplication. They multiply very quickly. And the rabbit on the Queen of Pentacles says that she has like a skill that where if she uses that skill, she gets more back than she put into it. So, you have to look at your own skills and like what you're good at and what you're doing in life. And you have to make sure that what you're doing is producing more of a result. And if you do that, good things will happen with the Queen of Pentacles. She's also the card of resourcefulness. And at the end of the year here, I think everybody has to be resourceful. I don't think it's bad or good, really. I just think the readings are basically telling people to not spend money all over the place. Like, don't waste money on things you don't need. You have the Death card. Big changes coming in for you. Yes. Again, Saturn and Neptune move back into your sign at the beginning of the year, by February. Or at the end of February, I should say. So it's going to be a pretty big year for you here, Aries. I did a reading with Devin Dewar on her channel. Actually, you can go to my channel, go to collaborations, and you can watch it. But your reading was very good for next year. And so, I don't know. I think it's going to be a really good year for you. And it could be starting now. Like, we're at the end of 2026, basically, and you could be, the changes you're going through now could really be setting you up for the next year. But again, you had a really nice reading and a lot of great energy. So, I think you're kind of setting yourself up for future success, which is great. But let's see where this is going for you. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Page of Swords. Yeah, I think you need to get curious about your skills and how you can use your skills, but in a different way, right? And I kind of said this to you before, Aries, but it's like, I think that you need to realize that you have been training for a very long period of time. It's like whatever you've been doing, you're about to use it for something else. It would be like if I were to go work on TV. It's like I've been working on this skill for a long time, and now I'm leveling up the skill. Right? I feel like that's what you're doing. It's like you have some sort of skill, and I think if you really study the skill, or really look at the skill and like how you could level it up, you would find some answers that would really create this level up. And really, it's like the universe is waiting for you to do it. You have the Hermit there. The Hermit has climbed to the top of a mountain. He's been through a dark night of the soul. He's shining his inner light. He's standing at the top of the mountain, but it's like, this is his inner light. He needs to shine that inner light out all over the place. But for whatever reason, it's popping into my head that card is saying the universe is like waiting for you to shine your inner light. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Temperance card. Yeah, it's like, again, kind of very similar because Temperance is patience, but sometimes I feel with Temperance that he's waiting for something to be perfect when he could just get off on this path here and go claim his crown, So maybe it's time for you to claim your crown here, Aries. I feel like I've said that to you before. It's time for you to use your skills in a bigger way, like whatever you're good at or whatever you do. I feel it would be life changing for sure. And, I do feel it's going to require a little bit of bravery because of the hermit energy. And by the way, the other problem, it's not really a problem, but the other thing I think about with the hermit is that we're kind of in the time of the hermit right now because we have the south node in Virgo and we have the north node in Pisces, of course. And, south node in Virgo, north node in Pisces is very hermit energy. The south node in Virgo is like saying people who are born with that, when in their past lives, they went to like the top of a mountain, they escaped from society, and they, that placement from a karmic perspective can represent a person who in a past life wanted to punish the world. They wanted to hide their light because they were hurt or, something happened to them. So, we are kind of in this time where it's like all of us with the South Node in Virgo and North Node in Pisces right now are being asked to not hold back. We're being asked to kind of unleash the beast and show the world what we're made of. And you have the world here, so I feel it's time. With the Death card, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like there's not much more for you to do here, Aries. I feel that it's a, you're at the polish stage is what's popping into my head here. It's kind of funny because, I know I talk about this a lot, but I teach YouTube on the weekends. And it's like some of my students in there, it's like I know they are at the polish stage where it's like their content is good, but right now all they have to do is like work on how it appears. They have to work on like the packaging of their content, right? And I'm just using this as an example, but I feel that for some of you where it's like, what you are doing is good, but if you could, you can make it appear better, if that makes sense. It's like you need to work on your marketing. And I'm not saying like literally, this could be anything in your life, but if you have a business, yeah, sure. It's like maybe you need to work on your marketing, but I feel maybe you've been working on yourself and it's good. It's like what you've done is correct, but maybe you need to polish something a little bit more. I wish I could get more on that, and maybe we will throughout this reading, but that's kind of how I feel about the Eight of Pentacles. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Approve card and this Reconnect card. I feel like you are reconnecting with like what you really want here, Aries. And sorry, my fingers aren't working today, but I feel that you could be reconnecting with yourself with that Hermit card and figuring out like what you really want your life to look like. You have the Ten of Cups right next to the Hermit. So the Hermit isn't, like I said, it's not really a bad card in the first place, but I also feel it's not all bad in this reading. Maybe you need to take a pause to think about your Ten of Cups. Sometimes we do. Sometimes I think we have to say, what do I want? What do I really want my life to look like? And then we need to kind of like go from there. You have the Five of Swords, the Hermit, and the Knight of Pentacles. The Five of Swords is about, taking a risk or risk-taking in general. So I feel for a lot of you, you could be taking some sort of risk at this time or putting yourself out there. It can represent a separation, walking away from things. If anything, I feel that you're walking away from boredom. You have the King of Pentacles and the Four of Cups, right here, with the Five of Swords in between. The King of Pentacles is, again, not a bad card, but he is stuck doing things the same way. He is the card of convention. He doesn't really, innovate. And so I feel that in work or business, maybe some of you are a little bit bored here, and you could be taking a risk to look for something different or to create a little bit more excitement in your work, or even you could be taking bigger risks in work, and that could be helping you with the become more excited about what you do, and I think that would be helpful. You have the Hermit, again, probably your most important card here. I feel like maybe you don't realize that you have earned the right to, claim your spot on top of the world here, Aries. I feel a little bit of polish would be a good idea for you. It's like, again, something has like good bones is how I see it that you've been working on. So just think about whatever you've been working on, right? And then then I think the next step here with that Eight of Pentacles is you need to think about making it stand out more. Even if you've been working on yourself, right? Maybe you need to put yourself out there more so people can see the work you've done, right? Same thing with work or business. It's like if you've been learning new skills and you've been growing in work or business, maybe it's time to ask for a raise or promotion. That's what I mean by polish. It's like something needs to be polished up. And, the other thing is like maybe you're going to have to sell this to a person like your boss. Maybe you need to go to your boss and be like, look, I've done this, and this. I'm 10 times more valuable than I was when you hired me. I need more money, right? And, that's an oversimplification, Aries, but that's kind of the energy I get here. I also don't think it's time for you to hold back, again, especially next year. But like I always say, astrology is like a wave. We can catch the wave early. So even though Saturn and Neptune don't move back into Aries until January and February of next year, doesn't matter. I would, unleash the beast here, Aries, and kind of, show off. You have the Knight of Pentacles, another card that says it's kind of like time to get moving. He's the only knight in the tarot that isn't making any moves. He has these empty fields behind him, which is kind of like a huge opportunity to create a lot of abundance, but he has to plant those seeds in that field to make it happen. So I kind of feel you are at this like place of, having a blank canvas in your life where you could be creating a lot of abundance, but it's like time to, plant those seeds and make it happen. I really feel Aries needs to think about their next step. It's like wherever you are right now in life is not the top. Whatever you want too. It doesn't matter if we're talking about love or business or yourself or anything. I think if we wanted to simplify this reading, which I definitely want to do because I feel it's kind of a little bit all over the place with the polish thing. I think the simplest way to put the energy here is that wherever you are is not the top, right? There is another step, but I think you have to think about that step that you have to take. It's like maybe where you are is a little bit limited. Maybe there's only so much growth you can get where you are in life. And it's like there's something outside of that you could expand to. And I feel like the Knight of Pentacles is encouraging that next move. With the Five of Swords, you have the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, and part of it might just be doing it, right? Three of Pentacles is putting your work on display, is showing your work. And so maybe that's what you have to do is, whatever you're thinking about doing, you just have to put it out into the world, whether it's like a project, business, idea, yourself, doesn't really matter. But the Three of Pentacles is about putting your work on display. And with the Hermit, you have the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, Nine of Pentacles is gratitude and luxuries, having the nicer things in life. You have the Nine of Pentacles twice in this reading, so definitely could be a lot of abundance coming in for you here, Aries. And, could be a lot more success. The Nine of Pentacles is independence. And so I feel a lot of you are going to have to be doing things on your own. But that doesn't mean you can't get the help of other people. I always say that two things can be true at once, right? We have these two cards, the Three of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles is teamwork, Nine of Pentacles is independence. But the big difference is that he is the one that's in charge, right? So you can be independent and still work with other people, right? But the Three of Pentacles, what it wants you to do is you are the one taking the lead. You have that leadership card. You are the one calling the shots. So if you're working on anything, it says it's perfectly fine to get the help of other people, as long as you are the one calling the shots. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, definitely the challenge everybody's experiencing. Neptune and we're getting to the end of Neptune and Pisces. The problem I see with Neptune and Pisces is we all probably have this big impossible dream, but we don't have the resources to get it. All year, for many years, people have been getting these cards of resourcefulness. And the Five of Pentacles is actually a lack of resources, but you have the Queen of Pentacles, which is resourcefulness. And, the trick right now is that we have to get started anyway. Even if we don't think we have the resources necessary to make something happen, even if we don't think we have the money to make something happen, we have to do it anyway, as much as we can. If we do that, the universe will move out of the way. So, I would get started regardless. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, here you go. You have this divine support. It says guidance, angelic signs, higher self, synchronicities, deep purpose, soul calling, dream, messages, and miracles. You have this endings card. It says loss, letting go, over, no. It just says no. Death, irrevocable conclusions, afterlife, destruction, the end of a phase. Yes, you are definitely ending a phase. This is probably a good thing because I feel this whole, all your readings all year have been talking about leveling up. And, I think really you could do this before we even get to next year. I think you could get this into motion. And again, like I said, I did your reading yesterday with Devin Dewar and it was amazing. So I think there's a lot of good stuff coming in for you. But it's going to require, putting yourself on top, right? It's kind of like different than what other people have been getting. Because, other people for next year, it just seemed like yeah, people, there was this theme of kind of people maybe putting themselves on top, but they had to do things to prove it. You're a little bit different because I think it's saying, no, you are the one that just makes the decision to put yourself on top, right? And so I would start now, this week, not next year, and I would get moving. You have the Four of Cups, the Ten of Cups, and the Page of Pentacles. The Four of Cups is like past disappointments, and sometimes I feel that with the Four of Cups, that he's been disappointed too many times in the past, so he isn't accepting this new cup into his life. And I feel for a lot of you, you need to like let go of the things that didn't work in the past and just like start working towards whatever you're working towards now and not even worry about it because it's a distraction. You have the Ten of Cups, which is very good. Ten of Cups can represent like fortune after difficulty or happy home, happy family. Ten of Cups, they have to bring those cups down to earth. I actually feel, again, maybe some little pauses with that Hermit card. If you're having moments where you are, where you start to think about what other people want too much, I think that is a clue for you, Aries, to pause with the Hermit. If you're saying like, oh, I want to start this business, but oh, what will this person think, or what will happen here? It's like, that's when you should say, no, pause. What do I want, right? And I feel like that's kind of what this reading is talking about, is that sometimes, if we're putting too much of other people's stuff in front of our dream, then it can kind of like slow us down too much. And that's when you should pause and think about what you want. And you should kind of focus on that vision with the Ten of Cups. I also do feel a little bit of love here. So not really a love reading, but there is a little bit. So if you want love, definitely possible. You have the Page of Pentacles. Could be a new person, could be an earth sign, could be any sign, general reading. I would say that if you are attracting love, it could start with communication. For all of you, outside of love, I think the Page of Pentacles is talking about learning, studiousness. He is the card of learning, and so anything that you can learn to get closer to your Ten of Cups vision or to be on top of the world would be good for you at this time, Aries. With the Four of Cups, you have the Page of Wands. Yeah, you have that Voyage card. You have the World card, Jupiter and Cancer. I think all that is probably gonna make you very adventurous at this time, and is going to make you feel a little bit more enthusiastic. And I would be moving towards your enthusiasm with the Page of Wands. I also think with the Nine of Pentacles twice here, that the Nine of Pentacles is a card of your environment. It's a card of the environment that you are in. And so with the Page of Wands, this would be about putting yourself in an environment where you feel good, right? So if there are any environments, which could include like work, business, relationships, anything that surrounds you that doesn't feel good, then the Page of Wands wants you to move towards things that do make you feel good, and so that you can have a supportive environment. And some of you might be making that change. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Nine of Wands. Yeah, Nine of Wands twice here. I'm getting the word like resistance here, or that you might be a little bit resistant to something. Like, is this bad? I would say no. I just think that there might be a little resistance to, happiness, basically. Like, not in a bad way. Sometimes I think we go through many years of difficulties in life, Hermit showing up here, going through a dark night of the soul. And then when something good happens, we can be a little bit skeptical. It's like, maybe that's a better way to put it, of the energy that I'm getting off of this card. And so I feel like it's saying, allow good things to be good in your life. Don't immediately jump to, oh, this is going to fail, or this isn't going to work. I think a little bit more optimism would be very helpful. With the Page of Pentacles, you have the Moon card. Yes, there are things you don't know, so learn about it. This is definitely between now and the beginning of the year. I know this is a weekly reading, but again, the universe doesn't wear a watch. So, I feel like this reading is really talking about like things that you should be doing all through 2026. But, the moon casts shadows. If you've ever been outside on a full moon, it's like you can see, but there are some illusions. There are some shadows, right? And I feel like the moon is saying, explore those shadows. Explore things that you're not sure if they're real, or if they're an illusion, or if they're fake, or whatever. It's funny that I said resistance on that Nine of Wands. It's like sometimes, like I will see a video on YouTube that is talking about changes that YouTube is making, and YouTube is basically destroying YouTube right now. So like anytime I see one of those videos, like I kind of resist it, because I'm like, I just don't even want to see it, but I know that if I watch it, it's probably going to give me a clue of what I should do with this channel to keep it growing, right? But sometimes I resist it, and that's kind of like the feeling I get here. Is like there might be some opportunities for you to like learn ways to grow, or to improve your business or whatever. And it's like at first you might resist it, but if you explore it and learn about it, I think it would be very good. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this helping hand card. It says the universe is helping you find something you need that will lead you to your next step. Didn't we say that on the Knight of Pentacles? It's all about like your next step. You have this Phoenix rising. It says you've been through the fire and rising up anew and embracing life in a deeper way. The entire reading. It's like, hermit. You've been through this difficult period of time and now you're being reborn. And no, this isn't going to just happen this week. This is going to be something that you're doing probably over the next year. You have this Nine of Wands, the Nine of Pentacles, and the World. Yeah, the Nine of Wands and the good stuff is good because it says you're not giving up on something that you want, and especially with the World in the same row. The World, Nine of Pentacles, Ten of Cups, all those cards together kind of tell me that you have this vision or this idea of what a nice environment for you would be. It's like you have the vision, right? And now you're not giving up on bringing it down to earth, which is exactly what Aries needs to do. You have the Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles is like gratitude, luxuries, independence. Nine of Pentacles is, kind of like wealth building as well. And you have a lot of great money cards here, Aries. It's kind of like, I feel like there is something that you could easily push through. It's almost like a membrane. It's like, I don't even know how to put this. It's like there is like something stretchy in front of you, right? It's like, imagine if on this side here where you are right now, you're making $10,000 a month. On the other side, maybe you're making $1 million a month, right? And it's like there's this stretchy thing that I feel like you have to break through, like a membrane, right? But you really are going to have to push through it, kind of like in Ace Ventura when he's pushing himself outside of the rhinoceros, if you know what I'm talking about here. It's like you're being reborn, really. It's like you're in the squeeze here with this card. So maybe that's a better way to put it. But I feel like if you would just push through something, and if this is making sense to you at all, Aries, I feel like this is, then you know what I'm talking about. It's like if you would just push through, I feel it would make all the difference in the world. And, that's what I would do here. You have the World. The World can be an accomplishment or achievement or feeling on top of the world. We basically talked about that the entire time. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Two of Cups. Yeah, I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but if you want love, I would definitely open up to it here. I do feel like you could be attracting a really solid person. Could be someone different than your usual type. I actually am getting that this person is very different, Not only could they be different than your usual type, I think they're just a different person. Like, they might be a little bit eccentric, or maybe they live their life in a different way, or they have different things going on. I don't know. They're just popping into my head as a very different person. Here you go with the Nine of Pentacles. You have the Lovers. Yes, both of you could be very independent, which is great. Could also be a Gemini here, Aries, that you're attracting, or it could be someone with a Gemini in their chart, but. I think that really this is like two people who have worked on their independence. I'm a big fan of two independent people coming together. It's like two people who don't need each other but want each other, very different. So, could be a solid connection. With the World, you have the Nine of Swords. Yes, needing to get out of your head. It's funny because the World is also a card of birth, right? She is, after the World, we start all over again as a Fool. And the World, she's being born in this portal right here. She is like going through that portal in the middle of the card and, recreating her reality or whatever. So again, I get this like birth energy here at the end where you're pushing through something. I don't even know. I wish I had some better things to say to you, but it's like if you're working on a business, for example, it's like maybe it doesn't look like it's working, but it actually is working. You're just in the squeeze, right? Like this second, if you would just keep working, I feel like eventually you'll pop out the other side. Like same thing with anything else that you're working on. This is coming up in the good stuff, right? Nine of Swords sucks. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I also think in the good stuff, it's saying you're about to pop out the other side, right? So I kind of feel maybe it's more saying like don't give up on what you're working on. Maybe you just haven't figured it out yet, but you're clearly very close. So I would keep pushing for sure, or whatever, right? You have this coins card. It says money will be coming to you. Yes, it looks like a very good money week for you for sure. Now, again, this could be through pushing, right? Maybe you have to like level up what you're working on or what you're doing, but I definitely see good money stuff here. You have this wall card. It says misunderstandings. Yeah, we enter into Mercury retrograde shadow on the 21st. I'm actually already feeling it. Today is October 16th. This video will be published on the 17th. So I already feel that messy retrograde energy, right? So Mercury goes retrograde on November 9th. But, what I would say is if you're, communicating or anything like that, being very clear with your communication and maybe slowing things down would be a good idea. You have this younger woman, it says dealing with your relationships, a younger woman. You have the sun, it says happiness and well-being. I mean, maybe this is what you should be embracing, is kind of like a more childlike approach to the world. And you have a couple of pages, and the Page of Swords is the child. And, so maybe being more childlike and more optimistic and following your optimism is what this reading is asking you to do. You have this desk. It says, pay attention to your work. Yes, I definitely feel like I'm wondering also if I would challenge you this week, Aries, to like pick one thing, go research whatever you do for a living, right? And pick one thing that will level you up and do it, right? Whatever it is, because I think, just one tiny little thing might make all the difference. You can't make this up. You have this crib card. It says birth or conception of a child or an enterprise. Something is being born, but it's like you're in the squeeze. It's not like I don't know. 4 of Cups, 9 of Wands. It kind of makes me feel like you think that something isn't working. It is working. You just haven't popped out yet. You just haven't, busted out yet. So I think that's what this reading wants you to do. But pretty interesting. Make sure to leave a comment. Call me crazy for these birth comments. And yeah, definitely enjoy your week.